Well, it is official. My jeans do not fit. Hey guys, my name is Emily. Welcome to my channel, Emily Exploring with Friends. For today's episode, it's just going to be me and baby Ferrer. I'm about 19 weeks pregnant. I'm definitely past the point of did she eat a really large meal or is she pregnant? You know, kind of thing. My leggings are pretty much the only thing that fit. So yeah, it's definitely got me thinking a whole lot more about pregnancy and how I feel about it. And so that is what this episode is going to be all about. My thoughts on pregnancy, being a mom. This will be my first child. And I am the kind of person who not that I didn't want kids, but it wasn't a priority in my life. I wanted to travel, I wanted to do a lot of stuff. Getting married wasn't even like a big priority in my life. I was the type of person who was like, can I just have a surrogate mom and then raise the child? Because I wanted biological children, but I never really was like, I can't wait to be pregnant. I can't wait to do that. And now I'm doing it. So I kind of wanted to talk through my thoughts on the whole thing, where I'm coming from, because there's a lot of people in my friend group that are pregnant, corona babies. It's another baby boom. So if that interests you, stick around and let's get into this episode. Alright, so the last episode was with my friend Charisma, who has started her own new small business as a floral designer and doing foraging boards, which is mostly what she's been doing lately, but she also does flower crowns and stuff like that. So we talked about a variety of topics last episode, and this episode is, well, just me and my little friend, who we think is a boy. Not entirely sure. When we went to get the ultrasound, we were still at like 16 weeks. And so the doctor was trying to find, what gender it was. And he thought he saw that it would be a boy, but he was like, don't do any gender reveal parties just yet until the full anatomy scan is done, which is happening this week. Before we get into this episode, I did want to kind of give a sneak peek at a project that I'm doing. I really wanted to get back into sewing, like with a machine. And I, of course, really love plants and have really grown accustomed to taking care of them and growing them and doing my routine of watering and making sure that they're getting enough sunlight, taking them out of the sunlight. It's been one of the real joys of making this house a home. So with that being said, I really wanted to combine the two. I was looking at the variety of plants that I have in my house, and I was like, okay, what would make a really good throw pillow? Because I'm always looking for throw pillows or, really cozy items, especially with a nursery that I need to start designing and getting the concept for. What I decided was the Pothos plant was probably going to be the easiest one to make a pillow out of or, from. So I got two fabric colors. They're linen, and I got a green and a white, and I went ahead and did my design, planned it all out, what I'll be needing. I got my shears, I got my threads, unpacked the sewing machine that my mother-in-law gave me, and it doesn't have a power cord to it, so that project is slightly on hold. I think they might be really cool presents for like family and friends. All right, so let's talk pregnancy and motherhood and what it means to me. I think my perspective on it is different than my sisters, than my mom, than a lot of people I know. So I really kind of just wanted to talk about it. So a little background with me is I'm the youngest of 4 girls. My dad really wanted that boy. I am the youngest. Now, all of my sisters have children. The oldest has 8 children. She had 5, and then, lo and behold, she got triplets. Yeah, I don't know how she does it. She loves babies, she loves being pregnant, and then we have my other sister who only has 1. She definitely wants more, and so she's planning that out. And then my other sister has 3, and they've all, like, their oldest are like 13. So they all started at least a decade ago, and here I am living my best life, not really thinking about having kids, not really setting marriage and a family at the highest priority. And it wasn't until I met my husband, there was just something about him that was completely different. He checked almost all of my boxes. So let me get into why I'm making this episode. You know, I was in my bubble bath thinking about pregnancy, thinking about what it's gonna be like being a mom. Now, I never thought I would be a housewife or like a homemaker, but the more, you know, this house became ours, and the more I was able to decorate, put my plants where I wanted, and buy curtains and figure things out, you know, I really started to enjoy doing that kind of stuff. The other thing was my yoga practice. I am 200-hour certified yoga instructor, so I do have that knowledge, which I think would make me a better and more capable human being to guide another human being through their own experiences and their own life, which is honestly my mindset when it comes to motherhood. Yes, I believe in discipline. Yes, I believe there is a right and a wrong, but I also believe that my right might not be this human being's right, you know? When it comes to the type of house I was raised in, I definitely see things that I don't want to do, but then I see things that I do want to do. So for instance, like, my dad always had books around, and even before I could read, he encouraged us to look at the books and to see the pictures, and then once we could read, we could, you know, get that understanding and education, and that kind of fostered for more knowledge, for more experiences, to see other perspectives. And I cherish that. And so that's one thing that I definitely want to provide to my child, is being able to travel, to experience new things, to see other people's perspectives, to figure things out on their own, to really be hands-on when it comes to life. The thing that I don't want to do, which I was kind of raised like that, was, you know, don't show emotion, especially when I think my dad wanted boys and he got a bunch of girls. He definitely did not want us to be emotional women. And so I think that kind of really stunted our emotional growth. Not all the way, but I definitely think if it was a place where we could actually talk about our feelings, then it would have been better. And so that is something that I want to do as a mother, is provide, and I know this sounds so silly, but like a safe space. Like, I think it's important for a child to be able to verbalize their emotions, not just feel it. And that goes hand in hand with yoga and feeling and accepting and acknowledging without reacting. And I know I struggled with that as a child. I was an angry child. And when I say child, I mean like 9, 10, 11, 12, okay? Not toddler age. That's the only way that I could express my emotions. And then happy emotions, the way I felt was I could never outwardly show when I was happy, because I always thought that if I showed that I was happy, something would happen and that would cause me not to be happy anymore. Or people would take advantage of what makes me happy, and they'd use it against me. So I was not a happy it sounds so bad, but like I was a happy child, but I didn't show that I was a happy child. So some people would have been like, wow, Emily's a real downer. But that's just how I felt. So I think it's very important to be able to discuss feelings and emotions, and even a display of emotions. Have that be okay. Because I think that people can do the opposite of what their parents did. Be like, I'm taking all of that and just throwing it all out. But I think it's very important to realize that your parents are humans. Then you can start to analyze and kind of be like, okay, so they did this right. I really like how they handled this situation. And so you could start to pick apart, kind of discerning for yourself what you kind of want to incorporate into your method of parenting. And so now I kind of want to talk about living a healthy lifestyle. It's not just about fitness and diet. It's about, you know, your mind-body connection. It's about learning how to express yourself. It's learning who your inner self is. It's learning how the world works outside of yourself. And so that type of lifestyle I've started to cultivate for myself. Now it's a lifestyle that I really want to cultivate for my child. But let's talk about pregnancy, because yeah, it's cool. And I did not have like an awful first trimester. Like I was maybe nauseous or queasy for 3 days and had like a headache for 3 days. But other than that, like I've been pretty good. I didn't have any weird cravings. I didn't have any like adverse, like, ew, get that away from me kind of typical pregnancy stuff, which I can go over my first trimester in a different episode. But pregnancy, I never really looked forward to it, because to be honest, pregnant people freak me out. I don't like seeing pregnant bellies, like naked pregnant bellies. So you will not see a naked pregnant belly from me. You will not see weekly updates of my growing belly. I take pictures for my own personal use and like to look back on, but I'm not gonna show that to social media. Like, no, that's kind of weird to me. But again, that's my own personal preference. Pregnancy, like, it's okay. I get it. It's fascinating. I think it's really cool that I can grow another person inside me, and then they're gonna pop out and be like a person. That's freaking cool. Also, the other thing is I've been looking at like a birth plan and like the questions on it. Who do you want at the hospital? Who do you want to do this? Who do you want at the house? Blah, blah, blah. You know, all those little fun details, which I've started to think about. And I've asked Anthony, you know, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? And like, what do you want to do? And all that fun stuff. But the reason I bring that up is I only want Anthony in the room. That's the only person I want in the room. I don't even want people at the hospital. And like family, friends. Thankfully, I don't live, that sounds so bad. But thankfully, you know, like I don't live in proximity to them. They live in Oklahoma, New York, and Florida. However, some of them are thinking about coming up here in the summertime, which is when this baby is due. But yeah, I've made my wishes clear. They've known my wishes since even before I was pregnant of, you know, I want that time to be for me and Anthony with our baby, you know? And I think it's very, very important for you to, sorry, there's cars going by. Where are you guys going? I think it's very, very, very important that you set those boundaries, because you're not gonna get this time back. And I've known that, and I'm very confident in setting boundaries, but I know some people might not be. And if you have kind of a pushy family like I do, because you're the last one of the daughters to have a child, they want to be a part of it. And like, I get it. However, this is my time, this is my family's time, and this is my first child. What I say goes. End of story. And I think women need to have that mindset and to be empowered to make the decision. Just because they're the grandmother or the grandfather or the aunt or the uncle or whomever does not mean their wishes come before yours in your birth plan, okay? Who you want at the hospital is who you want at the hospital. Thankfully, hospitals are only allowing one person in with you due to the pandemic. So I could just blame it on that. Not everyone's gonna understand your perspective or your wants or your needs, especially when it comes to being pregnant, especially when it comes to motherhood. And I've always looked forward to having a child, like the raising part of, the guiding part of having a kid. I've always looked forward to that, being able to teach them to read, to experience new things. What I'm planning for, what I have in my head, might need to be completely different. But the one thing that won't be completely different is providing a safe, loving environment based on education and experiences and experimentation, giving them whole foods and trying new foods and all that kind of stuff. Like, I cannot wait to figure out what his favorite foods are, or see the face when he doesn't like a food, going camping with them and hiking. What I want to do is provide an environment of exploration. My whole thing is about exploring, and that's not just physically exploring, that's like, mentally exploring as well. It's what always fascinated me to travel and to see firsthand, how other people live and the different perspectives. And I know that's a little bit further off in the parenting world, but yeah, I'm excited for the baby to actually be here. I'm almost halfway done and hasn't been too bad. Knock on wood, right? The only thing that I'm really hoping is that even though he's a boy, he's still gonna learn yoga with me. He's still gonna be my little yoga partner. I see all those yogi moms with like their daughters and everything, and I'm like, if I have a son, he's gonna learn yoga from a very young age. I'm looking forward to the raising part. The pregnancy part, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's cool, but like, can I just have the baby? Like, can we just grow them in pods, like in Gattaca? They're just in a pod. Zygote goes in the pod. My sisters make fun of me all the time. I'm the hippie sister. I really like how my life is going. I really like in here, I finally have an end table and it has plants on it. I think that's the end of this episode. I hope this was kind of entertaining or eye-opening, or if you disagree with me, let me know. That's fine. I post a whole lot more frequently on my Instagram, so if you want to follow me there, it is Emily Exploring Earth. If you have any questions for me, yoga related or pregnancy related or anything related, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye! Today's episode is sponsored by Plant. Just kidding. So for each episode, I kind of want to have like the plant of the week. So for this episode, it's going to be this guy. This is a silver pothos plant, and I have been growing him for about 5 months now. He was so tiny, and I just have him in this like little ceramic geometrical pot. I always like to keep the little guides because I forget, and I will say very easy to grow. However, it says low light. I let him get some sun every once in a while, and it proves to be a little bit better than just living in low light alone, because you can see where he gets the lowest light, gets a little yellow. So I like to turn him also. It's also a good idea to turn him and let, you know, every part of him get some light. But yeah, this is my little plant for this episode. He will go right there next to my Swiss cheese, which is also technically, I think, a Pothos plant, like a ivy plant. Can you tell I'm a crazy plant lady? Okay, I'm not that crazy though, because I only have a few.